Hey, here's something that I've learned after coaching, hundreds of agents, and that is the fact that if you don't stop to look back, you could potentially keep running in the wrong direction. So, this is Doug here. I'm a real estate coach and sales director within a group at EXP. Would love to share some of the insights that I have from coaching hundreds of agents across the industry. I exist to help support and encourage agents in building the career they want to. So, today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful but most overlooked habits of some of the top producing agents that I work with, and that is a quarterly business review or QBR. It's the secret weapon that helps agents stay focused, course correct fast, and actually grow intentionally, not just by accident or luck of the draw. And stick with me until the end. I've got a challenge for you guys that I think will really change your business if you take part in it and help you work towards getting clarity on what's working for you and not working for you in your business. So let's dive in. Let's start with the truth teller, your numbers. Here is where you ask yourself what actually happened this quarter. So you want to look at your numbers and see how many homes did you actually close. What was your total GCI, gross commission income? What was your average transaction size? How much was each transaction worth? And most importantly, where did these leads come from? A lot of agents fail to ask themselves, where did these leads come from? And so they don't know where to put their time in getting future leads that they're most successful. According to the NAR, the average agent still gets about 60% of their business from their sphere and past clients. Yet many agents spend 90% of their time chasing cold leads or new leads. When you look at your numbers objectively, what you do is you start to see patterns. Maybe your social media isn't converting as much as you thought, and you're not getting referrals from that like you thought you were. Or maybe your open house follow ups aren't the most important thing for your wins and where your clients came from. It's not about judgment, it's about awareness. It's not about saying, oh, you didn't do this good enough. It's about knowing what you did do well enough and what you can double down on and what adjustments you should make to the things that you want to be successful in but aren't being. Because what you don't track, you can't improve. So when we're tracking these numbers and we know this, we can make improvements along the way. So the next question you want to ask yourself is, how did it happen? This is where you zoom out just a little bit and you assess your systems. So how's your lead generation process? How's your follow-up strategy and your client experience? So not just what the numbers are telling you as far as what the transactions were and where they came from, but how did the systems around those affect that? Maybe you find that you have a better system for following up with social media leads than you do with open house leads. So maybe it's not that the open house leads aren't as good as your social media leads, but it's that your system isn't as good. So your follow up strategy isn't as good, and therefore you're not seeing as much success. So the question to ask yourself is, what is broken and what worked best? Maybe your CRM isn't being updated. Maybe you're not automating your follow ups. Maybe you realize your onboarding for new listings runs like clockwork, but your onboarding for buyers doesn't. Then double down on what is working and adjust what isn't. The key is to look at your business like a business, not just a job. Systems are what separate agents who survive and those who scale. So you want to look at your systems and see what's working, what isn't working, and what adjustments, again, need to be made. Now it's time for the fun part. This is where you start looking at taking all that information and looking at what you're going to do over the next 90 days, and you set your next 90-day goals. Take what you learned from reviewing and set 3 to 5 strategically focused areas for the next quarter. For example, maybe you want to increase your sphere of influence referrals by 20% because you see you're having big success with those referrals. Maybe it's just adding 50 new leads into your CRM because, if they go into your CRM, the system shows that they get followed up with appropriately and they convert. Maybe it's shooting a video per week or 2 videos per week for social media because you see, hey, social media has the ability to be a big lead source. I want to double down on that. Finally, building up your automation or your follow-up drip. Maybe you find that your drips on your one lead source is better than drips on another lead source, and you need to build out a drip for those. Keep these goals specific, measurable, and realistic, though, not vague. So look at it as something as my social media leads are high converting leads for me. My open house leads are not, but my system for open house leads do not apply a drip campaign or a follow-up process like my social media ones do. So maybe duplicate that process by a specific date, measure the success of it, and make it realistic. So, can you realistically build out the same drip campaign for open house leads in a week's time and then measure it at the end of 30 days? Don't be vague about it, set a very specific action plan to it. And remember, a quarterly review is not just about business metrics, it's checking in on you as well. So, how are you feeling? Are you burnt out? Do you have balance? Are you growing personally? Are you exhausted personally? Because when you grow, your business grows. When you're exhausted, your business is exhausted. When you're burnt out, your business is burnt out. So, make sure you're checking in with yourself as well and being honest about where these things are coming from and how much of it is a failure on systems and how much of it is a failure in the fact that maybe you are overworked, stressed, and burnt out, and make the adjustments appropriately. So, as promised, I've got a challenge for you guys. I want you this week to block out 60 minutes on your calendar and complete your own quarterly business review. Ask yourself what is working, what isn't working. Ask yourself, where did my transactions come from? What did they result in? And how can I duplicate that? Then ask what systems I had in place that were beneficial that I can double down on. And as always, comment below the word review with your commitment to doing a QBR. And what we can do is we can connect then for a 15-minute, no obligation, no pressure phone call, just to go over what does your quarterly business review say, and what are your goals for next quarter that we can help plan out. I'd love to jump on a call with you and help you plan out those goals. And build out those systems for tracking your business like a top producer. So let's make sure the next quarter isn't a repeat of the last quarter, but it's a step forward. Even if you had a great quarter, let's keep moving forward. If you had a disappointing quarter, let's get it back on track and move forward from there. Thanks. Have a great one.